that.
Hey. Back to another episode of Melanated and Candid. We out here, me and my lovely co-host. We getting ready to talk to you guys about finances, how to manage your money. The topic for tonight is how to manage those finances so you don't have to wait a minute, I'm messing it up, but it's got something to do with managing that money. I do remember that. All right,
Funding yourself so you don't need to go fund me.
That part, because you don't want to go fund me. Okay.
Right.
All right.
So are we talking about that? So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there have been like a lot of GoFundMe's being started, especially when people lose loved ones and stuff. One story in particular was AJ Johnson, the comedian that played in Friday, Crackhead or whatever he was. So when he passed last year, his wife actually started a GoFundMe. But what got the media attention was when they first started the GoFundMe, she was upset because I guess whatever deadline she had created, they had only raised like $700, and she was pissed off. So she actually goes to TMZ, I believe is where she went to complain about the fake love from the fans and why they weren't contributing more money to the GoFundMe account. So I'm like, well, hold on. This man is a comedian. Everybody knows who AJ Johnson is. If you haven't managed your finances as AJ Johnson to the point that when you die, you need help being buried, and maybe he did it. I don't know if maybe the wife was swindling away money. I have no idea why she created the GoFundMe, but it was just so crazy that she was actually upset because the fans were not donating more. And I feel like as a fan, every time I bought a ticket to this show, every time I went to the movie theater to watch Friday, I was supporting AJ Johnson's GoFundMe.
Right.
Throughout his entire career.
The whole entire one.
So, but there are a lot of people that are actually creating GoFundMes, and we've gotten to a point where I don't even know if I trust GoFundMes anymore. There was another story. This was a lady that created a GoFundMe. This was during COVID, and she was saying she was being evicted. Well, she gets on here with this sob story about her and her kids are, they're about to be evicted. They've had to sell all the furniture in the house. The house was empty. But for me, looking at the video footage, I knew that it was a lie as soon as I saw it because she acted like she had just gotten rid of that furniture because of the COVID circumstances. But in all honesty, you know how when you've been in a place for a while, especially if you have carpet, you could tell where a couch used to be. You could tell where a bed used to be. None of those markings where I didn't see any of those marks before. I'm like, hold on, your house been empty. But come to find out, the kids that she was staged up with, they weren't even her kids. She was babysitting.
Shut up.
She was babysitting some kids. Use these kids to create this sob story about her and her kids about to get kicked out, and it turned into this big media frenzy. But yeah, and so you can't even for the ones who have real issues that real financial struggles, and they lose a loved one and they have a hard time coming up with the burial cost and all of that. But you've gotten to a point now where you can't even trust the GoFundMes because of stories like that. But we've got to be better at managing our money so that when life actually does happen, and we always say this, life happens to everybody. So when life actually happens, you're good to go and you don't have to create a GoFundMe because it's not everybody else's responsibility to take care of your finances. Because I don't chip into GoFundMes. That's not my job. Because when I die, I got insurance.
That part. And I'm going to tell you, most people don't even value the insurance. They don't think twice about it. And you don't even realize that insurance is just as important as paying your rent.
Yes.
Death is one of the only things that's certain in life. What they say, death and taxes. Yeah. And both of them got to do with finances, right? So, you have to make some decisions in life. People decide and spend their money on what they want all the time. People want Jordans, they spend money on Jordans. People want the Gucci and Coach belts and purses and brand new iPhones. They spend their money on it. And they won't pay their life insurance. I think the only reason people started paying car insurance the way that they did is because of the fact that they was making it mandatory and starting to take your license if you didn't pay. And people was getting in trouble. So we just have to be more mindful. I know Anissa was going to kick it off and explain to us for what we were talking about for tonight.
Right, but we had actually started rolling, so I was like, "Oh yeah, 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 there we go. Hey, go us." My bad.
You are
But
not a
anyway,
spectator, ma'am.
leave me alone.
Pour out
I be
there.
watching like, leave me alone. But anyways, y'all, there are like pretty much five pieces or five pieces to being for your personal finances. Number one would be your income, of course. Number two is your spending. Number three is your saving. Number four is investing. And number five, like the lady said, protection, protection, protection.
Yes.
So, yes.
But speaking of spending, I just want to throw out one stat out there. So of course everybody knows is that the black dollar does not dollars don't last long in the black community. So but what a lot of people don't know or they should know is that the black community makes up the majority of the consumer population. So in 2019, consumer spending in the black community was 835 billion with a B. $835 billion. But you know what you know what the median household income is of the black community? $46,000. So how are we spending $835 billion when our median household income is $46,000 a year? But go
Which I
ahead, Anita. I'm
do
sorry. I
better.
just had to throw
No,
that
no,
in there.
no, 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 no. I love Sister D is always with her stats. Stat it up, sis. Stat it up. Go ahead.
You're
Give us
good.
the stats.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But starting it off, like I said, income. We want to talk about, finding a job, career, what have you, that's going to pretty much keep you afloat. So when we talk about income, ladies, any particulars that they should be
Listen,
looking for?
I'm over here like keep you afloat. Wait a minute, because we all out here floating, okay? On $20, $30, $50. I need you to find some income that's gonna sustain you and your family. Be realistic. What is it that you want to do with your life? What is it that you want to do in order to be able to live and live the way that you want to live? Because it's a lot of us out here that's got all these dreams about what we gonna do and how we gonna live and how we gonna survive, and we doing it. What they say, you got champagne dreams and beer money. We got
Champagne.
we got to make some choices out here. You can't be flipping burgers at McDonald's for your whole life, talking about you gonna buy you a yacht and you getting ready to live in a mansion off the coast of Miami. Like it don't work like that. You got to put in some work in order to be able to get there. So people don't think about that.
Or just honestly, or not necessarily having a yacht. Let's just go a little bit down. Just saying home ownership. It costs for
Mm.
home ownership. So you would need to make sure flipping burgers and some other income or your partner pull in some income because that's you we're going to go back down to the basics because yachts is something just a little bit extreme, sis. Sister Roxy, her dream. There you
I
go.
got big.
Y'all heard it. She gonna have that yacht already. You know what I'm saying? Y'all heard it. She gonna have that yacht. So let's go back down to everybody else, sis. Just home ownership or being able to, like you said, take care of you and your kids. So we're looking for something that, career wide. Sister D actually said 46,000. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Mm.
So looking at the basic income of $46,000, knowing that the rent roughly
And that
is
might be generous. I'm just saying that might be a tad generous.
right. We're gonna use that. And I'm gonna need everyone for the numbers, of course, because I'm talking chit chatting, and I'm not really doing numbers right now. And we got our tax lady, Sister Roxy. So looking at the spending now, we're looking at roughly how much for rent? 1,200 for like a 3-bedroom.
A 3-bedroom? Where you living at? 1,200 to get you a 1-bedroom, 600 square feet out here in Dallas. Yeah. It depends on where you live.
Okay, yes.
And in
Depending on where you
California,
live.
to get you a closet. So
Literally, really,
Without a
and in New
door.
York, and I've been here, y'all in New York, the same thing. So,
okay.
so again, y'all, depending on where you living, and again, you got to find a career.
But hold on.
Find
First,
something.
let's talk about cost. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we make in the Black community is how we associate cost. First of all, in income, because we look at hourly rates and don't look at yearly salaries. So you making $12 an hour equates to about $24,000 a year, and most people don't know that. But when it comes to costs, a lot of times we see denominal amounts. Like when you purchase a car, $387 a month. We see that 387 and we say, I can afford $387 a month. What you don't realize is what that $387 a month costs over the course of whether it's 5 years, 7 years, because what they got 70-month leases now on vehicle. That is so crazy. That is so crazy. But they don't look at the overall cost. Like I made reference on one of the other shows about actually going down to a what are the rent to own places when you're paying $79 a month for a washer and dryer, but you're paying that cost for 2 years. We're looking at that little bitty denominal number and not looking at total cost. Just like, matter of fact, I was on another show today, Mr. Palmer's show, and they were talking about child support. And they were saying that, oftentimes instead of dealing with child support, it's cheaper to go get a surrogate baby. And it's true, because they were saying that it costs like $50,000 to get a surrogate. And somebody said that the average child support that men pay is like $500 a month. So if you look at that $50,000 for a surrogate, people look at that $500 a month in child support and say, okay, that's $500 a month. But in actuality, $500 a month times 18 years is $108,000. That's just the cost of the child support. That's not including any interest, any arrears. That's not including any court costs, attorney fees, any losses that you suffer because of child support. So when it comes to cost, we got to start looking at entire cost, and movement is associated to cost. Every time you make a move, there's a cost associated to that. And I don't think the Black community understands value. One of the things, just like with COVID, I always say I saved so much money because of COVID, because I wasn't incurring the expenses of going to work. Whether the gas, the eating out at lunch all the time, whether I was shopping on my lunch break, all of that got cut out because of COVID. And it allowed, I didn't even realize how much money I was spending on frivolous nonsense just in my commute to work, stopping at Starbucks to get a $5 coffee. So when we look at costs, it's not just that $5 coffee. It's that $5 coffee times 5 days a week, times 52 weeks a year.
Exactly.
And we don't look at that. Just like buying vehicles. We look at the vehicle for what it is aesthetically. Mm-hmm. Most people want to drive a Benz for status and aesthetics. And as much as I understand that, I actually knew a guy who went out and bought a Benz. Do you know, I found out he was putting regular gas in his Benz. And I was like, hold up, that you don't put regular gas in a Benz. That's not. He was like, well, I can't afford to put premium gas in my car time. I said, see, that's what Black people don't understand. If you can't afford the maintenance on that Benz, if you can't afford $150 oil change, you can't afford a Benz. If you can't afford to put premium gas in that car every time you go to the gas station, you can't afford a Benz. So we need to start looking at how we associate costs differently, and it might change how we spend differently.
Yes, it makes a big difference when we're talking about a car. Just thinking about the basic numbers, when you were talking about the $369 a month, most people don't think about the interest and the other fees that go along with that. Most people don't be
late.
It don't. That same $15,000 car over the course of them 5 to 7 years gonna end up costing you
right
so much.
Because you also got to think about the commitment. 5 to 7 years is a long time to be on time, and Black, we don't understand time. So 5 to 7 years is a long time for you to have to be on time.
Committed on time. Relationship, you guys, interest, and then of course you got that what? Protection. You
right.
need insurance because it's mandatory. So guess what?
Just like with home ownership, people look at home. Don't get me wrong. I understand the value of home ownership. I really do. But people always try to pressure those who don't have homes, to buy homes. And what people don't realize is oftentimes is a lot of people, what they don't tell you about the American dream, that purchasing a home, they love to talk about the equity. They love to talk about that. But nobody talks about the plumbing problems. Nobody talks
The
about the roof leaks.
maintenance.
Nobody talks about the HOAs. Nobody talks about nobody talks about you could be making payments on this house on time for 29 years, and year 30 comes along and life happens and you can't make a payment, and they can come and take all that away from you. Until that piece of paper is in your hand, I don't care how long you've been paying on that house. That is not your property. So as much as I understand the value of home ownership, and everybody should aspire to own property, we've got to start associating the cost with that, because you've got to have rainy day money when you have a home. You've got to have money set aside for roof leaks. You got to have money set aside for major appliances when they break, because homes cost. And if you have to take into account the everything that's associated to the maintenance of that home,
And
fixing
that's why
things when
they
they go
tell
out,
you to make
changing
sure you
light
have
bulbs,
insurance.
changing the batteries in your smoke detector.
I'm just saying,
It's the little things for me.
insurance. No, honestly, no. Honestly, and it's all about educating. But honestly, when it comes to homes, you need insurance. I mean, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You need to pay for that insurance. You need it because again, hot water tanks, a pipe burst, uh, ceiling, no, bathroom
Natural
ceiling leak.
disasters happen, and insurance
Exactly.
companies
Y'all
find ways
people,
to
I'm
not
just
pay
trying to
you.
tell you there's nothing like insurance, no matter what you
Right.
get, whether it's a car, whether it's a person, whether it's a dog, you name it.
But even with
You name it.
insurance, you still have to be financially solvent to the point that you can pay for emergencies. Because even with a natural disaster, there are insurance companies that'll say, well, we're not paying for that because you have flood coverage, you don't have hurricane coverage. I'm like, but it flooded because of you know what I'm saying?
But you
And,
need to
and you
make
get
sure
you
you
get caught
have
in
that
that
for
double
your
talk.
housing. But you have to make sure when I tell people automatically, buying a house is not an easy task. It's a lot of research, and I'm gonna tell you now, you need to make sure when you say I want that house, you have already looked and seen if it's in a flood zone, if it's in some type of disaster zone. You need to check the school as well as when
Pay
you're
for an
checking the school.
inspection.
Please.
I'm
Please.
so tired. I'm so tired of people saying that I didn't want to pay for an inspection. Even with a car, I don't buy cars without a pre-buy inspection,
Yes.
because it's the investment. So if you can't afford that, you can't necessarily afford that car. How do you even decide to buy a home without determining if there's any foundational issues, any termites,
That part.
any there could be so many issues with a home, and not getting an inspection. You are doing it is a detriment to yourself, and it's going
Literally.
to hurt your pockets later.
You wasting
So
money.
all associated costs, not just that mortgage, not just that monthly mortgage. It's everything associated to the cost of that home and the
Everything.
maintenance of that home or car or whatever it is that you're purchasing. So we've got to change the way we look at costs and
Yes.
spend
Yes.
more wisely based on not just that little denominal amount, not just that monthly fee, but the entire cost.
Yes. You know what? When people look at houses and they think about the mortgage, they definitely just think about the mortgage part of it. Nobody thinks about the fact that you have to pay taxes and
You're
interest
right, Carrie Lou.
on the home. All of that stuff goes hand in hand. You know what I
And
mean?
some
And
people
guess what?
paying with their spines.
Taxes and insurance go up. They can go up every year. So just because you got a $1,200 mortgage this year, don't mean that you're gonna have a $1,200 mortgage next year. So you have to make sure that we live in our own means. You know, like you said, if you can't afford to put the gas in the bins, don't buy the bins. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff matters. That kind of stuff can take you from being sustainable and living on your own to not being able to afford your house and then trying to figure out what you're going to do next month because you got to get up out of there and try to sell the house short sale and find somewhere to
Right.
go.
And
Right.
short sale would still cut you up. So my thing is, when and also, yep, exactly, homeowner HOA fees. Now you can actually look when you're looking at a house, you can see if that house has a HOA fee. It's okay to check these things because you are investing in your life being in that house, spending your future and whatever in that house. Check everything. Everything. It's okay to ask questions because questions get you some answers.
Pay for it, inspection.
Period. It's $120. Okay. It'll save you a world of trouble in the
The
end.
most expensive one I seen was $300. Pay for an
Yeah.
inspection.
Yep, that's
Please.
the highest I've seen.
Yes.
Definitely. So that's
But
when it's
yeah, go ahead.
no, so I was thinking, since we're talking about paying for our fees and looking at Benzes and things like that, how's our savings? How do you feel about our savings? I believe that a lot of people say, put $5 a day away for a rainy day, put $10 a day. If you're getting a paycheck, I've heard put $25 out of that paycheck into your
I
savings
think
account.
that should be the bare minimum. Minimum. But I save before I spend. I save before I pay my bills. Money goes into savings before it ever comes to me.
So as
The
in
money
you're
that
paying
comes to
yourself
me,
or you're just
right.
saying your savings?
It just automatically see. You got to set up. You got to make sure you have money that automatically comes out of your check before you get it, and that way, when you start basing your allowances, it's based off of that income. That's another thing. People need to stop budgeting. You need to be careful whether you're budgeting gross.
Or net.
Makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. So
And what you
that's why I say,
should be budgeting is what?
Roxy,
Yes.
What should we be budgeting, ma'am?
buy
Did you
gross
say
or net?
what should we be budgeting?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should be
you
budgeting
should be
by our
budgeting by gross or net.
That net?
only.
And for those that don't know, gross is what?
That's that pre-tax money.
That's what you make. Net is what you bring home.
It's a
So
big
we gotta
difference.
stop. We gotta stop making financial decisions based on gross and start basing it on net. And for anybody who's looking for a home, your mortgage should be no more than a third of your monthly income. No more. I say focus around that 25% mark, but hey, you do you.
Say
that again, sis.
And that's that net income again.
Right.
Net part. Because don't be over here making $3,600 and then be out there with a $2,000 mortgage thinking that you're gonna be able to do it. I got it. It's only $2,000 a month. No, because you forgot on the back end they took $500 worth of taxes out of your check before you even got it. Okay. Which shorted you out. And then that food is not cheap. Milk $5 a gallon right now. And so is gas. So this is something you don't account for.
Bread is $5 a loaf. Everything $5. Ain't no more 50 cents.
Ain't no more 50 cents.
I heard the dollar store is no longer going to be called the dollar store because they had to raise their prices. That's what I heard.
It's $1.25 right now.
It's $1.25. Made me so upset. I was like, I just knew I was about to rack up 10 things, $10.
4 for $5. That's what you're getting now. 4 for $5 plus tax.
Period. I said, oh man.
You're right, Eric.
It's a lot of people that don't know nothing about money, gaining interest, or how to invest money. That's definitely a topic that we're gonna get into because I like investments. I like being able to take money and then place it into a space where it makes money for you. That residual income is real important. Most people don't even realize how important residual income is. I think there are some people that have like 401ks on their job, and they'll put that money over into a retirement. But like, for example, I had a customer that came into the office. He makes $125,000 a year, right? He's paying 24% in interest. So he's giving away like almost $30,000 just in taxes alone, because it's just him. So
it is 30,000. Yeah, it is 30,000.
I said, well, do you have an IRA account? Do you have a 401k account? You know, because these are the things that we don't really talk about. And if you do have one, you know, are you maximizing it? Does the company that you work for, do they go in with you? Do they match the money that you put into it? Because that's free money. And if they match in your account 5%, then that's 5% worth of free money that you got going into your account. And I told him, I said, well, I'm not a financial advisor, so I haven't taken my test yet. However, it is coming soon because my goal is to become a full service financial agency. I want to do more than just taxes. I like to be able to help people holistically with their financial situations, right? But, you know, just telling him, like, maybe you need to speak to somebody who's a financial advisor, because you spending $30,000 giving it away to Uncle Sam. You could be taking that money and putting it into your own 401k or IRA account and setting it off to the side, even if you paying extra because they only allow you to put a little over $6,000 a year into your account without being taxed on it. I would much rather pay 6% worth of excise tax on having a maximum contribution in my account than be paying 24% to the IRS. Like, think about this. You could put an extra $10,000 out of that 30 into your own account, save it for yourself, pay the 6% on that, and then just pay the 24 on that 20, because they're not going to tax you on the other part.
Well, it sounds like she done gangbang with all them numbers.
But you know what, Roxy, that's another thing. So
thank you, sis. Thank you.
That's another thing. So we're talking about financial literacy, right? And don't get me wrong, I understand that from where the Black community is right now, we haven't been taught financial literacy. Our parents didn't teach it to us. Their parents didn't teach it to them. We're late bloomers when it comes to financial literacy. So I understand that. But the one thing that drives me nuts about that whole we haven't learned it is that with the world of information at your disposal with Google right now and everybody walking around with little handheld computers.
Right.
If you can Google how many grams are in an ounce, you can Google yourself some knowledge.
That part.
Facts.
People that's turning grams into ounces ain't doing nothing.
Don't get me wrong. Right, I understand. We are victims of the products of our environment. I get that part, and it's hard to break a lot of generational curses, and it's hard to break a lot of cycles. But as adults, at some point in time, you've got to stop focusing on the pains of yesterday, the harshness of yesterday, and try to put some steps in motion today so that tomorrow doesn't look like yesterday did.
Amen.
So we've got to take accountability for ourselves as adults. We can't keep blaming it on segregation. You can't keep blaming it on the government. You can't keep blaming it on oppression. While those things have impacted and contribute to where we are today, we have still got to take some accountability, because there are things that you can do for yourself that will better your chances of getting out of this poverty prison cycle that we can't seem to get ourselves out of.
Yes.
Now, speaking of, I'm sorry, I know this is going to jump off the subject, but speaking of, did y'all notice these boxes of cereals and stuff got a little smaller? And like my snacks, like they kind of like making them smaller in the box. Like, I'm just saying, they make it smooth. Listen, I'm feeling like they robbing me, boy. They robbing me for my food.
Y'all need to read propaganda. That's all. They're putting everything in condensed boxes. They're making them slightly smaller.
No, I noticed the difference. I noticed the difference in my food.
But most people don't. Most people don't. We're creatures of habit.
The prices is going up. The prices is going up.
And the volume is going down.
What? Listen, I looked at the lady like, ma'am, I need like 2 of these boxes, because I swear the last box was a lot bigger than this. She started laughing at me like, yeah, it is working like that now, ma'am. No, so is that, I should go get these 2 boxes? What you saying yeah to? Is you agreeing with me? Like, I should go do that, and you just want to charge me 2 for 1?
That's another thing. Bring that comment back up. Eric's comment. That's another thing I want to talk about. So oftentimes we like to blame our environment as well, and oftentimes we don't necessarily live in the best environment. So let's talk about the projects and the project mentality, because there's a difference. Yes. You can actually live in a project building or in the projects without having a project mentality. So we're talking about financial literacy here. And
Mhm.
there are things that we can do to improve ourselves and our community. So you have issues where you're living in the projects and maybe maintenance is not necessarily up to par. There are a lot of things that are broken, blah, blah, blah. But say you got 100 units in one apartment building, right? And you got little old Miss Mary Lou in apartment 2C that has been complaining about her toilet bowls not flushing or whatever the case may be. Out of 100 units, however many men are in that community, or just anybody, any able-bodied individual,
That
why
no.
is it that as a community we can't get together and say, hey, you know what, even though we don't have maintenance over here helping us out, we're going to help the community, we're going to make sure everything is running. We refuse to live in poverty, and I get it, it's not your responsibility, but when are your living conditions not your responsibility?
That part.
Fact.
So
Yes.
if think about this. Say Miss Mary Lou in apartment C, say whatever was wrong with her toilet, it costs $100 to fix. But say she didn't have $100 to give away because we're talking about poverty, right? Out of 100 units, if everybody donated $1, the community has now purchased a community tool to fix whatever it is that's wrong with Miss Mary Lou's toilet. Now, next month, when somebody else's something breaks, we pull together again. And this is how the community starts to own things together. This is how the community starts to build each
Yes.
other up. But the Black community has always thought in the singular I. And that was the problem with slavery. We were more concerned with the punishment that was being inflicted upon me. I don't want to die in this moment. So it was better to take it than to fight back because you don't want to die. And I get a lot of people say dying was not an option. The comment that Kanye, and I know we're getting off topic, but this is all about building up your community.
No,
When
we're not.
Kanye made the comment
Right.
that slavery was a choice, in essence, he was right. Because when you decided it was better to sit back and take it more than it was to take your freedom back, we still think like that today. Today we think about me. We think about surface attributes. We think about instantaneous gratification. We like the
Mhm.
likes on Facebook.
Mhm.
We like to look nice. We want to wear all the Louboutins and the Gucci's and all of this. We want to have all the hot designer stuff. We're always thinking about me in this moment, but we don't think about what our decisions in that moment are going to cost our children or our children's children. So we've got to make better financial decisions, not just as individuals, but as a community, so that our children don't see the same poverty that we experienced.
Yes.
So
And
when you live in a community, build up the community, get together and fix the community, pull together and come up with the resources that you need inside of your community.
Amen.
No one's giving it to you. We've been asking for 400 years. They're not giving it to you.
they ain't giving us nothing. Okay?
Work
Nothing.
together and make it work.
I'm off my soapbox.
No, you did right. I'm telling you, because other communities pull together and do that.
All
That's
the time.
That's why you have Hispanic communities full of people that still live in the same house together. They still work together.
How
They
do
met
Asian
each
shops
other.
start up? How do Asian shops start up? The families pull together. Everybody brings all their resources together, opens up this one shop.
Everybody.
When it comes successful, we shift funds to another shop.
And the next one opens
It's
up.
pooling, but we don't stick together.
No, because we be worried about who gonna have it better than the next person, and then we so busy, like Eric said, competing with the crab mentality, pulling one another down instead of building each other up. We don't trust. We don't trust at all in our community, and I understand the lack of trust because of all of the stuff that we went through. I really do, but at some point we got to take some accountability, and we're gonna have to do something different. Like, you can't continue to live like that forever. You can't, because that's not going to leave anything for our kids or our kids' kids or any, we won't have any generational wealth. We just won't.
Period.
Make a change.
But we got generational roaches.
For real.
I can't stand her. Yes.
True.
But yes, not roaches, generational wealth.
Listen.
You're right. Generational wealth is what we really need. And honestly, I'm gonna say it, Sankofa. Sankofa, Sankofa. Return to your roots so you know the past, so you'll be able to build on your future. There's a lot of things that we done seen in our past. We can definitely build from it. Like, I don't understand, how do we stop and we start and we stop and we start and we stop and we start and then we start all over and then we stop and you know what I'm saying? It's like we can never get past that, literally building a whole city again and building this city and building that city again. I hear a lot about, a lot of different areas are soon to have their, again, the black market, the black community where it's full-fledged, everything black down the strip, down every avenue possible in that area, right? And it sounds wonderful. It sounds excellent all over again. Wonderful. And to have it in multiple areas sound even better. Everyone should have it. Everyone should have their own black community. Every city, state should have one.
We can't get together like that.
We got to think community first, though.
Like,
we don't think
it's
community.
Like right here, the comment, teamwork.
The wheels.
Okay. Wait, I'm gonna go back to the wheels, okay, in just a second, because oh my God, you don't even know. So most people don't even know I got a paralegal degree, and yeah, that's one of them things that, man, you'll be fighting in probate for the rest of your life trying to figure out who's gonna get grandma's pearls from 60 years ago, because nobody had a will and everybody arguing about the big mama's house, and nobody is going to nobody. All right.
Nobody.
Yeah, that's them wheels is really
straight to the state. Exactly. You go straight to the state or county and they sitting there holding on to it. Sell it to the highest bidder. Here we come. Wait a minute.
And it should have went to your family. And that little $100 that you could have spent, I mean, if you got Legal Shield, you could spend $25 and you can make you a will. And most people don't even know about trust at all. And that's another form of wealth. Like, you can create a trust and put money into it, business money into it, stack money into it, just like you would an IRA or a 401k, and it's untouchable. And then you could pay yourself out of it tax-free. But most people don't know that. Like Dee said earlier, we weren't taught those kind of things. Nobody taught us about life insurance. Nobody taught us about wills. Nobody taught us how to build a trust. Nobody taught us that we're creating an estate when we get some life insurance and we place the money into it. They teach us that that's expendable. You don't have to have life insurance, but that's how you end up with that GoFundMe that we started out talking about in the beginning, because there is no way that AJ Johnson should have had to have a GoFundMe and that it only generated $700. That man had millions of dollars.
After that, I think they had gotten up to 50,000. But it's the idea that why would AJ Johnson's wife need a GoFundMe upon his death? Why? I'm not AJ Johnson. I don't have close to AJ Johnson money, but my family wouldn't need a GoFundMe in the event of my death.
But we don't plan. We do not plan.
No, we don't. We just got the plan better. Okay. We got the plan. We got to
when
do
you
better.
fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's it. That's all. If you're not making no plans, putting your future intact right now, then you're planning to fail. And it's not just failing for you, because you got to think, when you're gone, it's everybody else's responsibility. And people say that it dies with you, but it does not.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
It's still a whole bunch of other stuff that's left behind and struggles that your family and your kids have to go through that you done left for them. People don't think about that, though.
Right. And sometimes when you inherit, you also inherit their debt.
Debt, yes. I was just going to say that. You definitely inherit debt. You can inherit a lot of people's debt. It could be the house. It could be a car. They can pass it on down to you.
But even if you don't do it for yourself, you got to do it for your kids. You got part of the wealth gap is because they've always thought about generational outcomes. We don't. And we've got to start thinking about not just our kids. We've got to start thinking about what this cost is going to cost my grandkids. We've got to start thinking about that, because we're never going to have generational wealth if you keep, like we said on another show, wearing your money. We've got to stop investing in wearing our money and actually start investing our money, saving our money, spending our money wisely, budgeting our money. You can't
Knowing
just
how much money you
because
actually have.
when you die, what good does it serve anybody that you got 100 Jordans in the closet, or that you got 4 Gucci bags? Other than that's just something else for your family to fight about when you die. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you can't own those things. I'm not saying that at all. But you gotta, like I said, you gotta absorb all the cost of life. So, and like we said on another show, if your check engine light is on, you can't be walking around in a Tiffany bracelet. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
Not at all. Pay your bills first. Pay your bills first, please.
And if you don't like paying bills, stop accumulating so many. Stop running up those credit card debt. Credit card debt.
Now, since you said something about credit card debt,
girl, let me tell you, Sears taught me a very valuable lesson about credit card debt.
Listen,
and I'm so glad I learned it in my early 20s.
Too. Macy's will teach you that too. Well, Lazarus back in the day, Lazarus would have taught you that too, honey.
Yeah, very valuable. But yeah, we gotta stop. I actually met a woman that actually thought that credit card money was just spare money. Credit card, don't get me wrong, in some form of a sense, it is, but it's not spare money because it's not. First of all, it's not real money. That's first of all, but you're paying real money back.
Yes, you are. So don't get into something you can't pay back.
We gotta stop looking at credit card debt as just spare money and look at it more as emergency money. And I like to look at it like this, and I wasn't always like this, but the older I got, the more responsible, of course, I got with money. I start looking at credit card debt now, like if whatever I charge up on this card throughout this month, would I be able to pay this bill off in full at the end of the month? If the answer is no, I need to watch my spending.
That's it.
If the answer is, and don't get me wrong, sometimes you have those situations that come up. There's an emergency, blah, blah, I get that. But you need to start thinking, okay, if I'm going to put this $1,200 on this card, what is this going to cost me over the next 6 months? So you need to start thinking about before you just start swiping that card, because we don't feel it instantly. It's easy to swipe. It's so easy to swipe.
No swiping.
Listen, but I'm gonna tell you, we are not taught that same $1,200 that you swiped on your card, if you don't pay that balance off by the end of the month, that interest, that 24% that they talked about in the beginning when you that's additional $400 that's gonna get slapped onto your bill.
Right.
Okay.
And then you want to charge another $500 to the card.
Okay.
Don't forget about the late fee. Don't forget about the late fee.
And don't forget you over the limit. You over the limit.
Because it will push you over the limit. You ain't even got to spend the money on the card. Period. If you put the card down and you like, okay, I got a $1,500 balance, but you only got $3,000 in there. Guess what? 3 months from now, your card is overdrawn. Right. And now you're in the hole. Your credit then went all the way down because you're using more than 100% of your credit limit. Right. But they don't teach us about credit. And there's nothing wrong with using your credit card. I know a lot of people, I've been taught that when you use your credit card, because there's a lot of people that use their credit cards and they use them religiously. They use them for everything. Right. But they pay that money back. Like you said, at the end of the month, they don't spend no more money than what they're going to be able to pay back at the end of that month. They'll pay their rent with that credit card because that boosts their credit up. But they're going to take that rent money that they had on their debit card and they're going to pay that money back to their credit card before the end of that month, before that interest hit. They're not going to let that interest run over and cost them to be
right. And let's talk about minimum monthly payments. Stop sending them little minimum $25 and $30.
Please.
Because you're still paying the entrance on the balance every single month. So the less you pay, the more you're going to pay in the long run.
So all
the
you're
less
doing
you pay every month,
the
more you pay in the long run. So stop doing the minimum payment.
Depending some on your interest. You
depending on how much
right.
you ain't even paying interest off.
Right, depending on how much you're paying, true. Depending on exactly how much you're paying on your minimum payment, you're not even paying all your interest off. So
just stop
doing it. Just make your payment. As much as you're spending, make your payment. You spend $300, pay $300.
But if we budget off of our net, that's a lot easier to do.
Back to net. To net.
But we have to
And
start
stop.
looking at it differently.
People need to stop factoring overtime too. I know so many
It ain't
people that
guaranteed.
factor in overtime into the overtime is not guaranteed money. I don't care if you make overtime for 2 years straight. Overtime is never guaranteed money. Overtime is extra savings money. Overtime is, oh, we gonna take care of what we couldn't afford to. Overtime is get that check engine light checked out money.
Yes.
It's not for you to say, you know what, since I'm making all this overtime, and I've been making overtime for the last 6 months, let's go buy a new car. That's not what overtime is for, because it's not guaranteed money. Now you're budgeting your life off of something that's not guaranteed, off of income that you may not see tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. And just as fast as it comes is as fast as it go. What if they lay you off
tomorrow? His money, what's the saying? A fool in his money shall soon part.
Listen, ain't nothing in this life guaranteed. That's why it's important to do what you can while you can. I was just watching the news and they was talking about nuclear bombs and wars, and I know people that if they had to spend an extra $100 right now today, it would throw them over the limit. Like they live in paycheck to paycheck and they ain't even got that $100 in order to be able to spend to do what they need to do. Right. So if you don't have that plan in place and you aren't already prepared, you done already lost the battle already. Even people that plan get shocked. Okay. Because I got an investment account right now, and I wouldn't have planned for Ukraine to be over here into it and my stocks to be going down 5%, 10% every day. Okay. Different stocks every time I turn around.
Another 5%.
$100 here, $100 there. Like, wait a minute.
Right.
Wait.
Right.
That's why, listen, I don't even know why y'all even talking about it. What I tell you, don't even talk, girl. So the next thing we're going to talk about, Lord Jesus.
It's serious though, because a lot of young people started investing like these last couple years. If we're going to talk about it, these last couple years have been very integral to people starting to invest in stocks, invest in bonds, invest in options, invest in cryptocurrency, unlike ever before. And our young people then took a real bad hit because of the fact that we got excited. We threw all this money in there. It was booming.
They threw their savings into it. They threw all the stimulus checks into it.
Listen, COVID hit. Everybody went crazy. Do you hear me? We was throwing money left and right into these stocks. And now we have real life natural disaster situations that occur and all the money is gone. It's not guaranteed. Right. None of this stuff is guaranteed.
Right. Nothing, but that's another thing.
Is that including the bank?
What you can't afford to lose. Right. If you can't afford to lose it, the money that I invested in stocks, if I don't see that money tomorrow, my rent can still be paid. My car note is still going to be paid. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to I can't believe it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt.
But it's not going to impact my household. Everything in the household is still going to run the same way it was running prior to that investment. Every part of the household is still going to run in the same manner. So while, don't get me wrong, I understood the craze around, oh my God, I got to invest in cryptocurrency right now. It was a craze for a while. And I remember the day Dogecoin.
It's going to hurt.
It got halfway to the moon. It got halfway to the
It's going to hurt.
I remember that day. Everybody was super excited. It's been on a nosedive ever since. But for the ones who jumped on that it's too good to be true thing, and don't get me wrong, while Doge had its moment in the sun, we can't spend money to the point that it impacts everyday life. Yes. It impacts your ability to pay your mortgage. It impacts your ability to put food on the table. It impacts your ability to take care of everyday things or when emergencies arise. So everybody who invested in the stock market, it's like we make decisions based off of hope and euphoria. And we've got to understand the actual world we living in and stop making decisions based on fantasy, perfect outcomes. So if you invested every stimulus check into the stock market and now you're about to get evicted, I'm sorry, but I'm one of the people that doesn't feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry, but I do want you to learn a lesson
like, even if it's on a smaller scale, like it's people that didn't invest at all, but it's people that buy lottery tickets every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And think think about every dollar that was spent on a lottery ticket. What you would have today had you never spent that on the lottery ticket, and possibly so from the first day you bought a lottery ticket, we can, because there's some people been doing it for years, right?
Yeah.
What had you taken that money and invested in Amazon stock back in 2000 or whatever? What would have happened then? What would that money be worth right now? Even if you put it in a savings account and let it earn interest, what would you have now as opposed to what you've lost? And even if, like going to the casino, even when you win a couple $1,000s, you didn't give away 15,000. So that little win ain't nothing. Most of the time, you're just making your money back. There are more losers in a casino than there are winners. So while those winners occur, while those feel-good stories happen, we've got to stop making financial decisions based on a perfect outcome or fantasy outcome.
But we don't think about that. We just think about, oh man, it's only $2. You know what I mean? People spend $5 a day on Starbucks coffee. It's only $5.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's
$5 times 5 days a week times 52 weeks a year.
I'm just saying that it adds up. It adds up. That could have been an extra payment on that mortgage to help.
And honestly, that's a cheap habit. It's people who drink liquor. Liquor costs way more. Well, I don't know. It all depends on how much coffee you drink, because Starbucks is kind of up there. But like in states where it's recreational liquor, you got people buying ounces of marijuana, but yet and still you're not paying all of your bills. You know what that habit is costing you? Mm-hmm. Cigarette habits. What does that habit cost you?
Oh my God, yes, cigarette habits. Now listen,
they're going up again.
Now I know some people. Remember back in the day, I know them little singles, 25 cents. People used to pay 10 cents. Now you know what I'm saying? You add it all up right now. It's 50 cents. It's about to be $1. It's only $20 a pack. It's only $20 a pack anyway.
Oh, it's
a single is not $1
anyway. And it's going for 50 cents to $1 a piece.
No.
And that means the cigarette prices probably go up to what, $10 now?
They going up. I seen it. They're getting ready to go up again. They $9.50 right now, but I mean, if you smoke, and then even the non-name brands. This lady asked for a pack of Newport 9 menthols. Red.
No,
it was $9.50. I said, wait a minute. So you're spending $9.50 and you ain't even getting no menthol? Like, what are you even smoking for? I don't understand.
She said she just needs a cigarette.
Okay.
You should have lit an incense. The same smoke come out.
That's another thing about habits. If you're bombing cigarettes, that means you can't afford that habit. You can't have a habit that you can't afford.
Let me buy a cigarette.
If you can't budget that bottle of whiskey you like to drink on the weekends, if other people are funding your habits, that means you can't afford that habit. You need to make better financial decisions.
That's why people go to the little corner store and get them little peewees and stuff. Them little things.
People that have habits like that, though. People that have habits like that, they won't pay that rent. They won't pay that light bill because they gonna get that habit. Okay. So something gonna have to wait. Something gonna have to be on hold. Like, I ain't gonna have no gas in my car, but I'm gonna sit outside in front of my house and smoke these cigarettes. Period.
I need us to work on our
it's a mindset. Spending. That's a mindset thing. Like, we have to change our mindset when it comes to money and income, finances,
budgeting. Just money, the management of money.
Yep.
We've got to learn how to manage money. You got to learn how to let money make money.
Listen to her. Let money make money.
I like side money now. I like side money. That's my thing.
Hey, that's what I said. I'm trying to figure out how to get another stream of passive income. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yes. Where you free up all of the time that you got and somebody else is making money in your behalf and you're still making money from whatever it is that you did 10 years ago.
Pound surfing. Ooh, a check deposit. Nothing like it.
Nothing.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
But we can always start with just one, you guys. Let's start with just a regular job, income. Let's start here. People need just regular jobs and income.
Right. But even with the 401ks or stocks or whatever, those are things that make money while you sleep.
Yeah,
that's true.
They literally make money all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So it's okay to invest in what your job say. Hey, we're going to open you a 401k plan and whatever. Invest in yourself. Jump in.
That ain't even gotta be the only one. I mean, it's great if your job is doing it and if they matching it and they putting in 5% and you putting in 5%, bam, that's 10%, right? But you could still take some more of your money. It don't cost you nothing to take $25 and put it into an investment account and let that $25 turn into $25,000 over the course of 5 years.
Because you'll blow 25 at a gas station.
Listen,
I can blow $25 at McDonald's.
Right?
Raising
I was about to say, you hear me eating? You already heard me eating like McDonald's. I can blow $25 anywhere. I mean, I'm always eating. So with that being said, yeah, yeah.
We don't think about that stuff though. We just be feeling like I don't want to cook tonight. You know, I'm about to get ready to run over here to Wendy's real quick and get this 4 for $4, and then you end up with 8 4 for $4s, and next thing you know, you just spent almost $50.
And you know what? That's another thing we got to start thinking about. Hold on, that's another thing. That's another thing we have to start thinking about when we talk about the cost. So every once in a while, it might be cheaper to run to a Win and get a 4 for $4, right? That's pretty cheap option. But when you're talking about how often we do that, how often we're packing all this cholesterol into our bodies and the health factors that come with that, what is diabetes going to cost in the future? What is high blood pressure going to cost in the future? So we really got to change how we view associated costs. That Mountain Dew you like to drink, that Pepsi you like to drink every day, what is that going to cost you 10 years from now?
Mind your business, ma'am. My Pepsi ain't got nothing to do with you, ma'am.
Hey, no, I'm just saying, you got to think about the associated cost of everything, because motion.
Well, I'm willing to take that cost.
But if you can afford it, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, we don't think about the association of costs. We don't think about what our decisions actually cost us, whether it be right now, whether it be every 30 days, over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. We don't think about finances generationally or in the future. And we've got to start thinking about everything that this decision is associated to, because motion costs. And we really need to get that into our heads. Every motion costs. When you get dressed for work in the morning, that costs you, because what people don't realize is those are whether you're waking up early, you sleep late or whatever, if you're losing sleep because you're getting up early going to work, driving to work, the gas associated to that, the tire rotations that you get every once in a while, the oil changes, all that is accumulating costs. So motion costs. And we've got to start looking at what things actually cost in life and stop looking at the nominal amounts. Because I promise you, everybody I speak to only thinks about monthly costs, and nobody thinks about actual costs.
That's real.
Absolutely. So,
diabetes is expensive.
Fail to plan or plan to fail? How you want it?
I'm a planner myself, personally. I like to plan.
And it's never too late to start. Never too late to start.
Yes.
And I always say, do the max that you can do. But that's why I say first, because I don't want, a lot of people say I live below my means, and I'm fine with that, because you know what? When life happens to me, I've always been able to pay for life. As much as I hate to, I'm always able to pay for life. When my car goes in the shop, my mechanic says that's going to be $1,500. I sure hate to give you this money, check written, and it doesn't impact household income. It doesn't impact, I can still pay my rent and not have to worry about it. I'm going to tell you, and don't get me wrong, I understand that a lot of us living paycheck to paycheck is hard to get out of a rut, but that's why we got to find passive streams of income. Because there's no better feeling than to pay those bills when they come in, and not having to look at a checking account to see, okay, can I afford this or can I afford that? There is no better feeling than be able to pay a bill and not worry about what's in your checking account.
Yes, Lord.
No better feeling. To not have to worry. To forget when payday is a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling.
That's funny. Yes, I do. I like to plan. My favorite thing to plan, though, is trips. How about that?
Say that again. Yes, it is.
And
I
that passive
agree.
income is what helps me to be able to
Pay
do
for them
that.
trips, right?
Told you, I like side money. Okay, even if it's $1 though, even if it's 50 cents, even if it's a quarter, you know what I mean. Put it to the side. You never know. At the end of a year, that's a lot of quarters saved. If it's a penny, that's 365 pennies. Now you got $3.65 more than you had last year.
Right.
Hey,
You
Right.
know
say
what I
that.
do with change? So I collect change, right? I have this jar, and every time I get change back, I always throw the change in that jar, and I never pay attention to it. Well, when the jar gets full, I go take it to like one of the stores that have the coin counter thing, and I go buy groceries with that money, with collected change. And you don't feel like you missed that money because it's money you're not necessarily counting.
Yeah.
Because it's money that's already been counted. It's just change from other things that you spent. So that's one of the things I do. Every once in a while, I can literally go grocery shopping for a week or two on the change that I've collected.
I know that's right.
Literally.
Wait,
It's
y'all,
little things like that.
I'm laughing because we was moving, and I'm big on collecting my change and stuff too. But I put it in all these little jars and jugs and bottles, and I tape them up and put them up, right? So as we was moving, we was finding all these jugs of money, just change jars
Right.
everywhere.
I
It
know
ain't nothing
that's
like
right.
finding money that you didn't know you had, like the
Say that.
$20 in the
Listen.
dryer. This is like the best feeling to pull a $20 bill out the dryer.
Say, okay, so yes, I had that happen. I was so happy. I was like, oh snap, I'm rich, bitch.
Oh, I live
I'm
for the
rich.
laundry
My
around
bad.
here because they always leave money in their pockets. I told them that's the laundry fee.
Finders
What?
keepers.
Wait,
Say
Eric started
that.
doing the laundry on his own. Like, yeah, no, you just getting too much of my money.
Hey, I suggest you take it out your pockets. I done told you more than once. If I'm washing clothes, whatever I find, it's mine.
Yeah, that's
I
Right,
find
that's
it's
right.
mine.
That's a good launder's fee. That's a great way to look
That's
at it
exactly
because
what
we
it
don't know
is.
whose pocket it came out of.
Hello, it could have came out of
Mine.
mine.
Right.
Mine.
If it's in there, it belonged to me. If I threw the
What?
clothes in that machine, it's mine.
Right,
Telling you,
exactly. I threw the clothes in there. I don't care whose clothes. I threw them in there. It's mine.
I'm
Okay.
sad. Even the kids then got hip. They over here washing their own clothes. Like, yeah, no,
Hey,
you don't be giving
it be
money
like
back.
that. Listen, it be like that sometimes. The kids do the same thing over here. It be like that. And don't let me listen. It don't matter if you wash or whatever. If I actually go to the dryer and I have to do something and I catch it, oh, it's mine. It's mine. I don't care if it's a quarter.
Period.
It's mine. Mine. Finders
Right.
keepers. Right. Mine.
Another one, Roxy.
Mine.
I got another one. Income taxes. Now, this
Oof.
used to be me. I used to be one of those people that thought income tax money was free money, that's party money, it's go out of town money, it's all that
Listen,
spending money. And one thing that I learned when I was married, that's one thing my ex-husband taught me was how to manage money. I will always give him credit for he was so great with managing money. I never forget the first time we filed our taxes together, and he was like, okay, when we get our taxes back, we're gonna pay this up, we're gonna get this credit card. I'm like, hold on, who the hell pay bills with taxes? I used to be that girl. And now when I get my tax, you know what I'm trying to do? Can I pay my rent up for a whole year with these
Yes,
taxes?
you
period.
can.
What are you trying to do? I'm saying, is
Pay
this
that life insurance up for a year. Let me pay that car
okay?
insurance
I'm
up
paying
for
off.
a
I
year.
pay the car insurance that comes every 6 months. I pay that off
For a
Mhm.
year.
with one check.
Gotta pay it off.
One check.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about that every month. Use your money wisely. Stop frivolously spending money. Don't get me wrong. I understand that mentality behind the income tax checks money, those lump
No,
sums.
no, no,
We
no,
want,
no, no, no. You said it
but
right.
you're right. But we've got to start making better decisions to lighten the load the rest of the year. So instead of partying with that income tax check, pay up your mortgage for 6 months and tell me how you
Exactly. I was
feel.
just about to
Tell
say,
me how you feel.
pay your house taxes. Pay your
Tell
house
me how
taxes. I'm telling you now, you'll feel
right.
so good.
Tell me how you feel 6 months from now, going 6 months without having to pay a mortgage.
Listen.
Go fix something that's broken. Pay off a credit card bill.
Let me tell you.
I would much rather, as much as it hurts you to write that check, because I hate writing big checks. If I got to put a comma on this check, I'm not going to be happy about it. But I'm just saying, I don't like putting commas on checks.
I don't like the commas. I don't like the
Yeah, I don't like
commas.
commas on checks. But if I have to do it, I would much rather do that than have to deal with the monthly pressure of making sure this bill is on time, making sure
Exactly.
you're right, and dealing with that. It's another way to knock off interest on those credit cards.
That part. Listen,
That's
let me
So
tell
do
exactly
you.
how
your
it is.
income
You
taxes
said that
wisely.
them income taxes this last 2 years. Listen, these been the most payments I have seen. Do you know I seen a girl get $25,000 back on her income tax check, right? $25,000. Okay. Listen, I took my income tax check and bought a house. Houses was cheap. Look, my homeless families needed somewhere to stay.
That makes sense. Right.
What does she think? I'm in the wrong field, apparently. I'm not doing my taxes right.
What you say you ain't doing yours
Yeah,
right?
I'm
Right.
doing my taxes right.
Listen. Okay, now speaking of that, I ain't doing my taxes right. With me and Sister Roxanne just had this conversation yesterday. We were just saying, because I past tense, long time ago. I used to do tax long time ago. But minus that, I was saying that, oh sis, if I, of course, if I've never had you as my sister, whatever, oh, they can do their own taxes. People can do their own tax. She says, yeah, but think about it. They're not getting the same money that I'm able to get them back. There's different credits. There's different things that people just don't pay attention to. You have a tax preparer that actually assists with every little adjustment, breakdown, what you get off, how you get it off. Get a tax prepared. There's nothing like one.
Or take a tax class.
People don't invest in themselves. I was gonna say
now I was gonna
take a tax class.
I don't want to do that.
Hold on. With everybody talking about being entrepreneurs, post COVID and all this stuff, everybody talking about LLCs now. If you have an LLC, take a tax class.
Listen,
please take a tax class.
There's nothing wrong with taking a tax class, but there's a lot of people that don't want to take a tax class.
LLC at the end of your business don't mean that you got an LLC, people.
Not
Please
at all.
make sure you register your business the right way. I mean, I know I didn't jump off topic, but that's a whole nother thing. Like
that is.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about LLCs one day.
Listen, okay, that's a whole part of this tax thing that's then got me, okay, because people be coming in and they be like, yeah, no, I got an LLC and I made $1,200, but I need you to put these $60,000 worth of expenses on my taxes, and like you don't even realize the damage that you're doing. The money that you make, stop trying to be frivolous and get these extra big tax refunds and actually let your money reflect for itself, because there's a lot of people that's out here that's self-employed and that's losing out on the opportunity to even be able to buy a house because they so worried about putting a whole bunch of deductions on their tax return.
Let it go, y'all.
You made no money throughout the year, and now don't nobody want to give you nothing.
Okay.
Let it go. The
Man, when I tell you,
is by letting
I
it
took
go.
a hit this year, all them stimulus checks. When I did my tax, I ain't getting no money for damn stimulus check,
Oh, look at this.
Oh yeah, I was not happy. I was not happy this year.
Well, again,
hold on.
also allowing your tax preparer to check your taxes if you're not happy with those before you go ahead and submit those.
No, I'm good with my taxes.
No, I'm just saying, no, not you. I'm saying people.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Them W-4 forms. If you don't got no kids, or you only got one, stop putting 8 on that W-4 form. Please. And let them people not take no taxes out of your money.
If you can afford it, put 0.
Please.
Let them tax you the most they can tax you right now. You'll appreciate it later.
Yes, you will.
Please. And then take that extra money that you get back at the end of the year and invest it in something.
And that way you start budgeting right. Those little tricks help you budget more wisely because you're going to bring home less money monthly or bi-weekly, but trust me, you will feel it later on.
Yes, and it'll feel definitely like a pillow.
And it's going to stop me from having to have these stressful conversations with you at the table when we get here and you owe $4,000 because you didn't let them take no taxes out of your check all year long and you made $70,000 and only paid $2,000 in. Like, We got
You
it.
knew better.
Yeah, and you know what? And for all y'all that was out running rampant stealing this year, you do know most of y'all was taking y'all cell phones with y'all, and you know your cell phone record everything that you're doing, so they know who you were. You know you got to report that theft, right? I'm just saying the theft got to be reported on your taxes this year.
Good luck.
I'm just saying.
Good luck, y'all. Report
I'm
y'all
just saying.
thefts.
That's why I said we got to start
What's
thinking
that?
about what these decisions cost us. Because for everybody, because you know, a lot of states, like especially California, you know, they lowered the criminal charges on theft. So I think it was anything under $950 for it, they weren't pursuing. So you got people running up in the Gucci stores and all, and just walking out with $900 purses and all this other type of stuff, right? Because and they were literally doing this out in the open, no gun violence, no nothing, just walking in. Store associates watching them just put stuff in their bag and watching it, and nobody was doing anything. But y'all cell phones is on y'all. They keep record of everything that you do. And of course, you know, another thing. Now, since social media can have debt collectors reaching out to you on social media, for those that don't
What?
know that. Oh
You didn't
yeah.
read the article?
Debt collectors are gonna start befriending you on social media. So while you out there living your best life in Cancun, they're gonna be in your
Right.
DM talking about you owe us $1,300. When you gonna pay?
Shut.
For real. For real. I was mad when I read the article. Like, no, they
Not you about to be in that
Yes,
Lord
debt
Jesus. They gonna be in
collectors
your
are about to
DM.
start hitting you up on social media.
Talking about, hey, how you
get
doing?
people in trouble anyway. I'm gonna tell you, people commit crimes and then get caught on social media. I was reading this morning, this guy, totally off topic, but he had a string of robberies going on, and he had on this pair of shoes, specific pair of shoes, and they ended up seeing him on TikTok in the shoes and going over there, arresting him and placing him in these different robberies because
of them damn shoes.
Shoes that he had on. And at first I was looking at it and I'm like, how the hell they know that this ain't the same shoe out of 50,000 other shoes?
Nah, you
These
see
shoes were customized.
But you know what? It's off topic, but it's not. It's off topic, but it's not. So those
That's
unique
all about
shoes.
your damn
Hold on.
personal
Those
finances.
unique shoes. What did those unique shoes cost you?
Exactly.
What did that cost you over time?
Period.
We
Now
gotta
look
start
at it.
thinking about associated costs. I'm just saying.
Them $200 shoes that he done engraved on the side cost.
And that's all he saw was a $200 shoe, not knowing them $200 shoes was gonna cost him thousands later.
How many years?
5, girl. They gave him 5 years.
So $250 pair of shoes, $250 pair of shoes for 5 years. You bad. You bad. You felt like you won, didn't you?
Yeah, we gotta start thinking about all the costs.
For sure. For sure. So we didn't spend a lot of time talking about finances and investments. You know, a lot of the stuff that we're not really educated on, they don't teach us about. I know that, you know, we on here and we laugh and we talk about a lot of different things, but it's serious, y'all, because this means our future. It's not just us. It's our kids. It's our kids' kids. It's their kids. And we have to start thinking, like you said, degenerationally, where we're not just putting it out on ourselves and thinking, oh, well, when I die, I'm done. That's it. I'm done with it. Because it don't work like that. It's people out here leaving their kids legacies.
Mm-hmm.
Would have thought differently and did things differently in our lifetime. We would have had a legacy to live right now and own into our future. So we got to do better, not only for ourselves, but for everybody. Because everything we do affects somebody else.
Another stat.
Yes,
so
it does.
Poverty persistence. So in the Black community, poverty persistence is when you have generation after generation that have been in poverty. So for the Black community, so for adults that are in the bottom 5th percentile, the Black community, that you are the only one in your family or the only generation that's experienced poverty, we make up 44%, or we're 44% of that is us. 32% of us are in the percentage that us and our parents were in poverty. 21% of us, our parents, and our grandparents were in poverty. Now, 21% may sound like a small number, but in the white community, 1%. 1%. Because they think generationally and we don't.
And even though You said we know we like to blame, we like to place the blame and feel some kind of way. They took this, they took that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, I really can't
we
see
didn't have
that
opportunity. All of that.
years.
We can make excuses, but I'm gonna tell you what.
But now is the time.
Excuses are like buttholes. Everybody got one. They all stink. Okay. At some point in life, we have to stop making excuses for ourselves and the things that we doing, and we got to just do better. You have to make a conscientious decision to just do better, do something different. If you don't do nothing different, then ain't nothing different gonna happen.
That's the definition of insanity, ain't it? Doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome.
We can't do that. We have to do something different. It's not just us. It is not just us. Okay. I'm out here trying to make sure that I got a legacy for me. I'm teaching the kids how to do something so that if something happened to me, they gonna be straight. They kids gonna be straight. They kids gonna be straight. Like we have to set goals for ourselves and for our families. It's just, we have to. Okay, I'm done ranting, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. I love it. Both of you ladies are absolutely right. I just want to make sure people focus on finding what makes you happy, finding some type of income, no matter what it is. Work on your passive income, work on savings, work on your carelessly spending. We want you guys to shop less, save more. Is that what it is? Shop less. Well, I know they say shop more or save less, right? But we want you guys to do it the other way. Shop less, save more, as much as you can. $25, it goes a long ways in a savings account. It goes a long ways in an investment account. It goes a long ways in anything other than in your pocket and in your hand to be spent, period. I'm just at the point now, it don't matter where you put it. Just put it up.
If we got billions of dollars to spend, then we got billions of dollars to save.
To invest. Think about that.
And save.
If that $135 billion had been invested instead of spent, where would the Black community be today?
And a lot of Black people are homeless. A lot of veterans, they coming out. They stripped us of a lot of benefits. I know it's not never talked about, but benefits have been stripped from a lot of our ancestors. So with that being said, it's passed down. Brokenness is passed down. So we can also change all of this. Change it by changing the way that you're spending your money, changing the way that you're investing your money and utilizing your money, and get a job as well.
Please, because I was just thinking as you were
saying. Good job.
I'm thinking about people that are like on Section 8 and give food stamps.
That's what I'm saying.
That stuff is put there and it's supposed to be for our benefit, right? But that's the kind of stuff that holds us back from being able to be generationally wealthy, because they place limits on the amount of income that you allowed to make in order to be able to even stay there. So, oh my goodness,
right.
I'm on Section 8. If I make more than $800 a month, I'm not going to be able to stay here no more. I'm going to have to pay regular rent. Like, we have to get out of that. Because we are never going to make it.
You took it right out of my mouth, because I was just going to say, stop thinking you're going to get generational wealth through government handouts. Because 70% of welfare recipients, 70% live below the poverty line. Yes. 70. So stop thinking that government handouts are going to get you a leg up in life. Not going to happen. Welfare was not designed to lift you up. It was designed to keep you there.
Yes. And it does. Because I know a lot of people that will not. I ain't losing my Section 8. I'm not going to go get no job. They told me if I make more than $65 a month, I'm going to lose my check. They told me if I make more than $130 a month, I'm not going to
many people
Section 8. I'm going to have to pay rent. Pay your rent. It's the American dream. If you want to ever be a homeowner, if you ever want to ever have some real estate to pass down for you, for yourself, some land, a building. We talk about this 40 acres and a mule that we want so bad, that we want somebody giving us nothing. Okay, we got to get up, get out, and get something just like everybody else.
Yes. Right?
And in order for us to do that, we can't be out here living and trying to accept the assistance. Now, don't get me wrong. If you need it, then you take it.
Then you take it,
but you don't let that be the end all. You don't let that be the end all. You
don't go into that thinking of this is not a lifelong plan. This is a temporary fix
Temporary. Oops.
Temporary. And you need to, temporary needs to be, you need to have a 90-day plan when you go into request some welfare assistance, a 90-day plan.
Listen, they only give you 3 years now anyway, but I'm going to tell you.
As an individual, you need a 90-day plan to get off of welfare.
In that time, invest that money in yourself. Invest some time into yourself. We done been talking about investing money. It ain't nothing more important than investing into you. Okay?
Right.
Because can't nobody take that away from you.
Get your career education if you need. There's tech credits, there's tech things everywhere. Get you some stability and let's grow. And if government assistance is what it is, then let that be your springboard. Jump off. Let's go.
Just don't let it be a crutch.
Yep. Don't let them enable you and have you out here thinking, oh my goodness, I gotta stay here, or I ain't gonna be able to make it if I don't get this $338 a month. Because they ain't even giving out enough to survive.
What is that?
Like,
you know what? If you enjoy the $330 whatever dollars a month, you need to start figuring out a way that you can make that in a week, and then you need to start figuring out how you're gonna make that in a day.
That part.
There you go.
That part.
Go to
and
a
it
week.
can be done.
It can be.
It doesn't always take an education either. That's another thing. You don't have to go broke. Trying not to be broke.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't frown on a higher education, it's a lot of wasted degrees out there.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Look, you heard me say I got a paralegal degree. I ain't no paralegal. I'm doing taxes.
Absolutely. There's a lot of degrees that's been just underutilized.
Right. It's a lot
or
of people at Walmart with degrees.
There's a lot of people that got a lot of debt too. I mean, a lot of school debt, and you're constantly building it up, but yet you can't. So but you're not finding that passion, and you haven't yet stepped into your purpose, or you haven't yet stepped into that job that you're dreaming of or that you're wanting, and you're just turning the wheel on all these other jobs, but you got this debt out here like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for you going to school for something specific. So let's figure this all out, you guys. Let's figure it out. One step at a time.
1 quarter at a time. 50 cents at a time.
$1 at a time.
Manage it all.
Right. But yeah, I agree, Roxy. And one thing I've always said, we complain about how broke we are in the Black community. While don't get me wrong, we may not be as financially stable as other communities. We're not as broke as we say we are, that we think we are. We spend our money on the things we want to spend it on. Because if you're living in your mama house, but you got $2,000 rims on your car, you're not broke. You make stupid decisions. That's just what that is. Because those rims don't add value to your life. Those rims are not going to get you. I mean, I guess you could sell them if times get hard, but we've got to start thinking about different ways to spend money that's going to benefit us in the future, and not just what makes us look good right now to everybody else. Stop trying to please everybody else and start thinking about making yourself financially solid. You need to be financially stable. There is no better feeling than financial stability, not having to worry about life.
Wait, what did Cat Williams say? You got to look out your window at the car next to you to see if your rim's even spinning.
Okay, and we've got to stop competing. We've got to stop trying to compete with the Joneses. That is one of the worst things. Us trying to compete with everybody else. Stop trying to outwedding everybody else. I know a couple, they got divorced, that they were still paying for the wedding in the divorce because you were so busy trying to outwedding everybody else. Now you got all this mountain of debt. Stop making financial decisions based on what other people are going to think about them. Stop spending $500 on a Gucci belt just to walk around with your belt buckle showing so somebody can say, oh man, that belt hot. That $500
people don't even say nothing to you about your belt being hot. So,
but I'm just saying, but we're
don't
doing
even wear
right.
name brands. They shop at the thrift store. Do you hear me?
Okay,
but being frivolous.
Okay, but yeah, we gotta stop doing. We gotta stop thinking that the only way for us to feel rich is to look rich, and we gotta actually start wanting to be rich instead of looking rich. Because I want you to point to any millionaire that's walking around with the $20,000 bracelets, the jewelry on, with the $300 pair of jeans on. What Warren Buffett and Bill Gates looks like a bum half of the time.
Yes. But his bank accounts don't.
Oh,
His investment accounts don't.
so we
His
gotta stop trying to look
grandkids and
rich.
great grandkids don't.
They wear
Right.
them.
And
I
start
remember
trying
one
to
of them.
be rich.
I remember one
For
of them.
real.
I can't remember which guy it was talking about he wear the same type of shoes, the same type of jeans,
Most
3,
of them
4
do.
times a week. It's like
They
3,
don't
4
wear their
times
money.
a week. He wears
They don't
the
wear their
same
money.
jeans 3, 4 times a week. I know for a fact there is people that change their jeans every single day, and including washing them all the time. And it's like, this man makes 50 times the amount of money that you make, and you always watch. You don't never more than
You
once.
have to try to,
Some of them making in a day what some of y'all making in a year.
for real. You have to try to not dress to impress the ones that's around you, right? But
Right.
you have to start looking at the type of lifestyle that you want to live and the type of dreams and goals that you have for yourself need to start matching up, because some of these goals don't match up. Okay, you have to make
Right.
it
Steve
make
Jobs
sense.
definitely run around looking like a bum.
For real.
That's who it was. Okay, it was Steve Jobs. I knew it was somebody. I'm like, I couldn't figure out if it was him or the other guy. But I remember them saying that they wear the same pants and 4 or 5 times in a week. And I'm like, I believe it. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with it. I definitely believe it, because you just doing your job. You love your job. You're doing your job. You're not worried about what you look like.
Right. So
And
instead of
rock them
trying to
daddies
impress
to the old
everybody else, impress your bank account.
period.
Why it's looking like $5 only in your savings account and ain't moved since. They about to close it because it's inactive for that $5.
That's
I've heard
funny.
our
And
banks
you laughing. That
doing
happened to me
away.
before. Right? Listen, like 15 years ago, I had $10 in this account and I forgot about it. They closed it out, and then I
And
looked
took your $10.
on the unwanted
Right.
funds and my name was on there.
Yup,
I'm like,
and
"Where's
they give you
$10
your $10
at?"
for that. Yup, because you left your little money in there, and it was like, okay, send it over here. And you
And
can
it's
also,
so
and I do want to tell you, and you just reminded me, unwanted money or what is it?
unclaimed funds.
Unclaimed funds. That is a
Yeah.
good spot sometimes for people to go that don't even
I'd
know.
rather leave my money in unclaimed
Yes,
funds.
that's
For
what I'm
real.
saying. People
Go
really need to
check
go
it out.
there. Yes,
About every
unclaimed
5
funds.
years, just go check it out. Because
Yeah,
it could be anything, and a lot of people don't even
anything.
think that they would have money in unclaimed. I have had money in unclaimed. I have had unclaimed money in 3 different states. I'm like, wait, what? Send me my check.
Yes.
What
And
was
you know what? It
Yes,
ain't just
check
you
those
either. It's
unclaimed
not
funds.
just you. If you got parents, this is
Right.
passed away,
Let them
loved
know.
ones
Let
that
them know.
passed
I got a
away, they give
friend.
you funds for them too.
I
Yes.
got a friend that every few years he'll check for everybody and he'll let you know, hey, you got some money in unclaimed funds.
Yup.
Appreciate it.
Yup. I am one of those people. I do that.
That's community.
Yup.
That's thinking like a community. We gotta start looking out for not just ourselves, but everybody around us. The Black community is never going to get ahead if we keep thinking just me. First of all, think about your grandkids. But beyond that, we got to start thinking about the Black community. We got to start thinking about the Black dollar. We got to start thinking about Black wealth. You've got to stop thinking about me having these little tangible little items right now is not going to generate anything. But yeah, community. What if you have financial knowledge, share it with your neighbors.
Please share. Don't be stingy.
Right. Share it. If you see somebody
Honestly, you
making a
can't get
bad
anything if
decision,
you always
sit down
keeping
and talk
hoarding on
to them.
everything.
Right. If you know anything about taxes, sit down and talk to somebody about taxes. If you know anything about
Really know.
401ks at work, and it's some youngins at the job that don't know anything about 401ks, sit down and talk to them.
Yes. Look, I teach a free tax class every year. Every year. So you don't know what you don't know. That's my thing. We don't know what we don't know. But when you know better, you got to do better. So us sitting here and having these kind of conversations is what gears us and helps us to be able to help our community. That's why we here. We here for y'all in order to be able to converse, get together, swap some knowledge and experiences so that we can help make our community better, right? So that's our goal with our podcast. We here to share. So we appreciate y'all coming out and sharing with us. We thank y'all so much for that. And we hope that y'all come back and share again with us next week. We here every Thursday, 9:00 p.m. And we'll see y'all next week.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.